What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the ReadMe podcast. My name is Banuka and I'm going to wing it today. So Yudhanja is off at the bloggers conference and he won't be here for a while. I'm assuming he won't be here for a few days. He's going to go around the country, do stuff with other quote-unquote bloggers, and that should be fun to hear about when he gets back. In the meantime, Mahesh is also AFK, which means that I have to do this podcast alone, and for 10 and 20 minutes, I have no idea as to what I'm going to be talking about, so things should be interesting. Not a lot of stuff actually happened regarding tech in Sri Lanka, nothing to blow your mind about, but we do have a few buying guides out, the best gaming mice for your money and the best earphones for your money. Now, the winner of the category of best earphones for your money, the best ones for the lower range from rupees 1,000 to 3,000 and a bit medium range from around 5,000 to 7,000. The winner happened to be Sennheiser. They won both categories because Sennheiser makes good audio gear, right? I mean, that's why you know Sennheiser. Anyway, the high-end winner, or I shouldn't really call it high-end. It's not necessarily a high-end earphone. It's a mid-range one, and the Sennheiser MM30G with the mic ranges for around 5,500 rupees. And the earphone is a solid buy if you are planning to get yourself a pair. And as for the best gaming mice, there's actually two guides out, one from the categories of rupees 1,000 to 5,000, with the winner being the Logitech G300. The thing about Logitech is it's not as fancy as you could get. They're not like the high-end Razer gear that has tens of thousands of lights flashing around. But then again, they are really stable, they do the job properly, and it looks okay. And it's fairly cheap. For the part 2 of the series of the buying guides, the gaming mice money can buy for over 5,000 rupees. It's a mix of mice from SteelSeries, Armageddon, Roccat, and of course Corsair. So feel free to go ahead and browse those if you want to get a new mic. In other news, we have an article about doing business and setting a startup in Sri Lanka for all the entrepreneurs out there. Turns out that for the year 2015, Sri Lanka is the 99th best country in the world to get your startup, and we're going from 105 in 2014, which is this year, and the change is good. We're growing. The reason that we're going to, we're the 99th is, it turns out that getting a startup done in Sri Lanka, the registration process is fairly decent. So Sri Lanka has a slightly smaller number of procedures to go through. It's 9 actually, as opposed to the 7.9, and a higher cost. Generally, it would run you around 30,000 rupees in order to get your startup fully registered and everything. I'll actually go through the steps. It's not as bad as you'd imagine. First is you have to reserve a company name, and they assume it takes 2 days. The company secretary and director sign a consent. That's another day. Register at the Department of Registrar of Companies, another 2 days. Public notice of incorporation, time to complete 3 days. Register with the tax authorities and obtain the tax identification number from the Taxpayer Services Unit of Inland Revenue. Register for VAT with the Inland Revenue Department for VAT registration. Payment of stamp duty on the issued shares at stamp duty branch, and give notice to the Department Registrar of Companies regarding the issue of shares, and register with the Department of Labor and obtain the EPF number. So it goes to a few days. It's not a lot, and it's around 29,520 rupees exactly, plus 0.5% of the total capital stated, and it's actually pretty good. Actually, it's pretty interesting is what it is, because you don't really get to see how Sri Lankan environment is a good one for startup. And by the way, the countries that are taking the lead, known as the best place of doing business in 2015, was actually Singapore, and New Zealand, Hong Kong, Denmark, Korea, and Norway following back short after. In other news, we actually got a chance to go ahead and visit Millennium IT. Not to be confused with MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Millennium IT is a around 20-year-old software company in Sri Lanka that not a lot of people know about. Now, instead of me explaining about this, I highly suggest you guys go read the article on readme.lk. It has a really great story bound to it, and I don't think I can do it justice by simply explaining it to you. But one thing is that you should know, the place is huge, and when I say huge, after we went in through the gate, we had to walk for like half an hour. Well, not necessarily half an hour, but a fair bit to find the building. This place is so huge that it's in Colombo. Well, it's in Malmö, and it takes a whopping 21 acres of land. It's like half the city. That's a gross overstatement, so don't quote me on that. It's pretty big, and you should read the article. It's worth checking out. Now, if we're going news overseas, Nvidia has released their new tablet a while ago called the Nvidia Shield, and Mashable happens to claim that it is the most powerful Android tablet in the market at the moment. They're not saying it's the best, but they are saying it is the fastest by far. Now, the Shield is not to be confused with the Shield Portable, a device that Nvidia came up with a while ago, which is like basically a console controller, and you plug your smartphone on the top and you play it as a joystick. It's not exactly that. It's a different tablet they came out with. The thing about the Shield is that it looks astounding. It's very neat. It's a bit longer than you expect, mainly because there are two stereo speakers on the side, but it looks really nice. It's all smooth, and no matter what way you hold it, it looks good and it feels good. Now, what the people at Mashable are saying is that the designs go ahead on par with the iPad, and that it's actually better because, yes, they actually said that the design is better than the iPad. Not a lot of people say that, even if they want to say that, because the Apple fanboys will come at your throat and they'll try to kill you. Now, the other thing is the price point. They do say it's a little pricey, but still, compared to the iPad, nothing is pricey. It's going on for $300 for a 16GB model, plus it does have expandable memory, so that always helps instead of having to buy a specific 64GB model or something. And the 32GB model with 4G LTE ships for exactly $400. And yes, the thing is, Nvidia is a company that we know for graphics cards, and we assume we relate it with gaming, but it turns out the Nvidia Shield tablet is not a gamer's tablet. They actually specifically say that you shouldn't get it to play games, and even in the review that Mashable did say that if you are playing games on this tablet, it's going to be a little buggy and it can crash, which is not the best thing. But again, it does have a ton of functionality, right? It has the ability to stream your games to a 4K monitor, but it's not something that you'd always do, so I don't know. I personally am not a huge fan of tablets, mainly considering the fact that if you have a smartphone, you can pretty much do almost all the same things except having a bigger screen. And if you wanted a bigger screen around the size of a 10-inch tablet, you could just go ahead and buy yourself a Chromebook for like $200. So I really never use tablets properly. So we have a little bit on Skype that we're going to do now. Microsoft used to have a software called Lync, L-Y-N-C. Now, how this worked was that it was basically Microsoft's version of a video conferencing calls and basically stuff for business. And what they're doing now is they're getting rid of Lync because after all, Microsoft did acquire Skype a while ago, and they're pushing out Skype in all sorts of ways. They're bringing up Skype Business to replace Microsoft Lync, and of course, Skype, the client we always hate because it doesn't understand the fact that when you mean close, not minimize. Because if you guys have tried closing your Skype on your desktop, you would have had to go through hell. You can't just right click close Windows and the only thing it does is it minimizes it, which is stupid. But then again, that's Skype for you. The new update on Skype is that it's launching a version of Skype for the web. So it will be on your browser. Now, something really cool about this is, personally for me, I use more than one Skype account. So if you use the desktop one, you have to go through a lot of trouble to have two different versions of Skype running, one for your personal and one for your business. It's just really annoying. So I'm assuming the fact that getting a Skype web version means that you could possibly open it into browsers or even to tabs maybe. I don't think that's going to be possible, but that would be really cool. Maybe you could just open an incognito window and just log in on the same browser. So Skype is launching the web version. I'm not exactly sure when this is due. And finally, in a smaller, happier term, the Samsung Gear, the virtual reality gear, is coming out early December, which is not far away. I'm not going to spoil that for you because you should go and check the video out. And sorry for the short video, and sorry for the fact that there was no one else here to do it, and also sorry for the fact that we're a day late. But hey, better late than never, and thank you all for watching. Don't forget that if you enjoy this series of podcasts that we put out week after week, to like and subscribe to stay updated. Thank you always for watching. My name's Bhanuka, and have a great day. It is currently 5 AM by the way. Monday morning. How fun is that?